Good evening, Honourable Minister of Science and Technology, Your Excellencies, Ambassador of Austria, Ambassador of Cuba, Ambassador of Mexico, Ambassador of Poland, and Ambassador of Switzerland. You'll notice that I'm taking some shortcuts here. Other representatives of international missions, Director General of Science and Technology, the CEO of South32, CEO of Mail and Guardian, CEO of Business Report, and the CEO of Green Matter. All the heads of science councils, vice-chancellors of universities, all other dignitaries, and apologies if I've missed someone, the finalists and the winners, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing all the protocol thing tonight because I really think we have got an illustrious audience always, but we have some dignitaries that we haven't had before, and you are all most welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about the Brilliants Programme. It has been running for at least 10 years, and basically what we do is every year we choose certain top performers in maths and science. So we only look at maths and physical science, and we take the very top of those students who have chosen to study in science-related careers, and those include medicine, engineering, and various sciences. There's a young man and woman from each province, and we invite them to share our gala dinner here to see what the possibilities are in science and technology, and we have a very short but very intense program for them. We do a tour where they are exposed to applications of science and environments which they wouldn't normally have been exposed to. And so yesterday we did some very relevant visits to AG2 Foods Africa at their factory facilities. There they process various pulses, they package them, and other dried foods as well, among others popcorn. So we learned all about popcorn yesterday. There's science in there too, it's not just the movies. Then we went and visited the CSIR's Biomanufacturing Development Center, which the minister opened recently. And it's an incredibly impressive center where research is done on biomaterials, well, on various biological, how can I say? I haven't got the technical terms, but it's basically bioresearch. And it is incredibly varied, and the applications are astounding. So these things were very inspirational to the students. We also had an arrangement with the Agricultural Research Council, Plant Protection Institute. Unfortunately, it wasn't logistically possible to get there, but we thank the Agricultural Research Council nonetheless. Then we had a motivational speakers program for the whole day today. And during that, we try and offer advice and inspiration and urge the students to reflect on where they're going and on the choices that they make in life. Our hope is that they will continue with their studies and their careers that they envisaged when they enrolled for their studies. So I would like to introduce the brilliant students to you. Please come up, you guys. When I say that these are top-performing students, they got more than 90% for both physical science and maths. And they look pretty normal, actually. They're not. No, we are incredibly honored to also have them here. It has been great fun, and I know they also appreciate it, but likewise, it is so good to be inspired by young people who have their heads screwed on correctly. 5 of them are very brave. They have volunteered to address you this evening. Please bear with them if their voices quiver slightly, but I've got absolute faith in them that it will go well. The first one is Mr. Albertus Stephanus Low, otherwise known as Stefan. He is from Mpumalanga, and he is studying BSc Mathematical Science at Stellenbosch.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like Ms. Nyao said, she asked us to just quickly, maybe briefly, share on what we study and why we study, what in the chosen field. So I do a BSc in Mathematical Science with a stream in Biomathematics. And Biomathematics is a relatively new subfield that includes mathematics and statistics with biology on the other side. And although many of you probably have never heard of it, I do believe it's really important, and I'll get to it. I'll get to it in a short moment. So I've chosen to study this field, firstly because I'm got a really keen interest in both mathematics and biology, and it's hard to choose one or the other if you can choose both. And the other reason is I did quite a bit of asking around and inquiring and reading up on the internet. And then I realized that in the near future in South Africa and abroad, I guess, a lot of very important research and very fascinating research is going to be going into biology. And that, if you can just look at, say, pharmaceutical sciences or research or biotechnology, and even environmental issues like conservation of ecosystems and all that. And all of those things are naturally very, very important. And then with that, I realized that with all this research, you usually create big data, which in itself isn't very useful for us, and we can't make much of it. But with mathematics, we can use mathematics to analyze and to predict and to model and, yeah, make use of big data. So yeah, I'm studying biomathematics because I'm really excited to get into the research and really helping to analyze and make contributions to the research in South Africa. Thank you.
Yes, Stefan is one of those people who was inspired by the CSR Biomanufacturing Center yesterday. So we're watching the space, Stefan. Our next speaker is Maria Nanabai. She is, just a moment, I'm looking for her. She is from the Northern Cape, and she's studying BSc with Mathematics, Physics, and Philosophy at the University of Cape Town.
Good evening. My speech is a little bit long, so I apologize. Okay, so I grew up in India, surrounded by tea, cows, and the most distant of relatives. Everyone told me stories. I started reading as a toddler, and soon I immersed myself in every form of narrative. I was strange, the kid reading when everyone else was playing hide and seek. We moved to South Africa when I was 5, and here I was even stranger. I'm an Indian in South Africa and a South African in India. When asked about my mother tongue, I never know what to respond. I know that my mother first whispered to me in Urdu, but I could never write poetry in anything but English. So I am, nameless, placeless, dissociated from the very thing said to be my own. I am an eternal stranger to myself, an exile in a foreign land, a silence in a world of sound. Yet, language is what forms me. Without a strong subjective viewpoint, I view myself from the 4th dimension, an external observer, watching myself as the culmination of a long centipede of existence. I see how all organisms are connected in time, joined to one another by the stitches of evolution. In this story, I belong. In this story, I am inevitable. So, even if I cannot quantify my identity precisely, viewing myself as process, metamorphosis, the derivative of my trajectory at any given moment, my aspirations seem clear: to push this centipede as far as I can, using my uncertainty to advance the frontiers of humanity through time. It is hence that I am a student of wonder. My questions about things never fail to overwhelm their answers. With the omnipresent why, the quietly creeping how, I seek truth, I seek to understand. From time to time, I see my own life as an experiment of sorts, trying various things to see what happens, querying ceaselessly. My favorite thing is finding connections between seemingly unrelated things. The way the same principle governs the movement of the planets and the falling of an apple. The way so many mathematical constants can somehow find themselves together in the serendipity of Euler's identity. That, to me, is beautiful. That is the kind of thing I want to study mathematics and physics for. The most common response to when I tell someone what I'm going to study, however, is, why philosophy? That's like so random. I think we need to see things in every imaginable way and not restrict ourselves to specific faculties. There is nothing I like more than finding a new perspective and realizing the limitations of my previous thinking. Perhaps ironically, the extent of our knowledge limits the extent of our knowledge. Without the words to describe them, we may fail to notice things that would otherwise be evident. Without mathematics, much of physics would be a mystery. The more we know, the more connections we can form between things, and thus the more we can understand. Understanding is one of the most crucial things needed in today's world. A recent study has revealed that only 11 countries are currently completely at peace. Everyone else is involved in some kind of warfare, which is the shocking but inevitable result of separation. When you see another as distinct from yourself, you can see them as a threat. You can see them as someone to take advantage of. UCT has made me see that in Africa especially, where we have been made to think ourselves powerless, where tactics of divide and rule have been used to conquer us, we need more than anything to unite in the advancement of humanity. I believe that science is one of the keys in this endeavor. We tend to think of ourselves as insignificant, but if we are nothing more than drops in the ocean, then we need to realize that despite the different shapes of the raindrops, despite where they may have come from, in the ocean they are indistinguishable. The boundaries between one droplet and the next do not exist. We are more than just brothers and sisters. Like the ocean, we rise and fall as one. We are made from the same substances. We are inseparable. Hence, by learning as much as I possibly can, I hope to expand my understanding of the world. In this way, it is possible to unify the seemingly paradoxical. And so, we will be able to embrace each other. We will be able to embrace reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for the incredibly thought-provoking speech. Our third speaker is Mr. Theven Padiachi. He is studying medicine at Stellenbosch University, and he's from the Northern Cape originally.
On a dark April night, it was stormy. One of the cutest, most smartest babies was ever born. Too bad I was born in July. July 25th, to be exact. Good evening, Minister Pando, dignitaries of the academic world, other dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen. I am Theven Padiachi, a first-year medical student in Stellenbosch University. Even though I was not born with smartness, with time I learned that smartness comes with hard work and dedication. Being born in the city that sparkles, Kimberley was at the forefront of technology. It was the second city in the world to have electric streetlights, which were switched on 7 minutes after New York City. It was also the first city in the Southern Hemisphere to have an electric tram. Newer technology has extended the life of diamond mines. It is science and technology that provides us, youngsters, with a means of amusement like radio, television, and video games that entertain us. So why did I choose medicine to study? It's actually a personal decision, which I will share. I watched as my grandmother, who was a big part of my life, deteriorate in health, and from numerous strokes, and she was only 55. She wanted me to help people like her. She is currently paralyzed and bedridden with very limited speech. She is my reason. Even though I watched helplessly, I needed to know for sure that medicine was my future career, even if I wasn't doing it for her. So, to get a better notion of my future planned career, I enrolled at the St. John's Academy, where I completed my Level 3 First Aid with distinction. This led me to becoming the chairperson of the First Aid Committee and included participation in the St. John's First Aid Regional Competition. I then did a small stint at the State Hospital in Kimberley and thoroughly enjoyed the adrenaline rush of casualty. This was how the ball was set on rolling my career. Many life-giving medicines that cure diseases are also a gift of science, and one day I hope to be a part of that medical research that would hopefully change the world and make health a better place. On behalf of the students invited, I would like to thank the National Science and Technology Forum for inviting us to this prestigious event and for making us feel so honored during the past few days. Thank you for inspiring us and keeping the light of success to burn brighter in each and one of us. This was indeed an experience that will stay etched within each of us to reach higher and go further and be a change for our country and its people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thivin. I must say Thivin had us in stitches for these 2 days with his sense of humor. And in fact, he was collecting some jokes, some science jokes. Don't know what happened to those, but he said that all his one-liners had been taken, so he didn't tell any of them. Our fourth speaker is Makoko Alfred Motloong. He is from the Free State, and he's studying BSc Astronomy and Astrophysics at University of Witwatersrand.
Good evening, all. As I've been introduced, my name is Motloong Makoko. I come from the Free State. My love for science started when I was very young. I remember I was doing grade 7. What happened is that I faced many challenges in life, and I would like to share some of them with you. It starts when I was doing grade 7, and that was in 2010. Before that, my grandmother passed on in 2008, and what happened is that things started to change in my family. What happened is that we had to move from where we were staying and find another place to stay, having no food to eat, having nowhere to stay. But I didn't let that temper with my academics. So what happened was that I used that downfall as a way, as a motivation for me to always be at my best. So then I attended the middle school called Kolakwe Senior Phase, which is less than 2 kilometers from where I stay. Then I realized that, okay, I'm the child in this family, very struggling. So that means maybe God sent me, like I'm here for a purpose. That's what I believe. God sent me for a purpose. And I believe that God sent me to make a difference in my family. That's when I started to realize, okay, I need to do something with my life. That's when I started to take my studies very seriously, because that was the only way I can take in order to change the life of my family. But fortunate enough, my father, who worked as a furniture maker, and my mother, who's currently working as a domestic worker, they managed to buy themselves a house. But I used that experience that I once experienced in life to always be at my best. Then I went to high school. When I got to high school, I was selected to attend at Kutlwanong Center for Math, Science, and Technology. So I must say that science has always been part of me. So in this center, that's where those are extra classes for maths and science, physical sciences to be more specific. So that's where we are being taught more about those subjects. And after taking things very seriously, that's when I started to receive some recognition from my school, and especially in maths and science. And then I worked very hard because I know that I have a goal to change my family's life. So what happened is that I made sure that I worked very hard, and I was also attending incentive dinners in Kutlwano last year in grade 12. And I was also selected to spend a weekend in Cape Town. It was for the first time being in a flight, and I was very excited. So then what I realized is that I can do wonders. I can do many things through maths and science. That's when it came to mind that I should maybe pick a career related to maths and science. That's when I decided to take a career to study astrophysics at Wits University. So I chose to study this because of the history I have, science, and then I also want to be a part of people working very hard, very smart people, solving problems, brainstorming, teamwork. That is why I chose this career. I also want to be a part of those people who invent things, come up with new ways, make things more simple, try to simplify things that are very, very difficult to work with. That's why I chose to do this, to study this BSc in astronomy and astrophysics. I want to say thank you.
Our fifth and last speaker, thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Makoko. That was very inspiring. Our fifth and last speaker is Zuziwe Silindokukhle Twala, and she is studying medicine at the University of KwaZulu-Natal and is from KwaZulu-Natal.
Wow, this is really scary. As I have been introduced, I'm Silindokukhle Twala, currently doing medicine. Well, I stand here in front of you today to tell you that background is just a word. It means nothing. You shouldn't let it intimidate you. I'm from a very disadvantaged family, community, and school. But I wanted to explore more in science because at school there are no exposure scientific activities, and then I had to apply to the ProTech Academy, which was in urban areas. It was in town. I actually live in rural areas. The problem for me is that I wanted to reach the science that I never got to be explored in at school, but there were obstacles. The fact that at ProTech Academy, we were expected to wear casual clothes, and I didn't have many. Like, I'm coming from a family where the only time you get new clothes, it's around December, like for Christmas. And you have to use that one outfit the whole year. And it was very, very difficult. But it was reasonable in some way because the only time I got to go to town was once or twice a year. For when I'm at home, there are those women who are working as domestic workers, and their bosses, when they were throwing away the clothes that they were not wearing anymore, the other women, they sell it. They like go door to door selling those second-hand clothes. And my mother was a very big customer. Yes, I used to wear those at home. I have that outfit just in case when I have to go to town, just in case when there is a wedding, just one outfit. But that never intimidated me. Well, when I wanted to go to ProTech, it was very difficult because I can't wear like one pair of outfits whole Saturdays. No, I couldn't. So I had this idea. I started thinking, okay, I want to go to ProTech Academy. I want to explore in science because science is not coming to us. At school, we don't have labs. We don't have any scientific activities, so I had to stretch my hand to be involved in science, but clothes. So I decided that, okay, I have to start selling chips. I did that in grade 10 with my friend. He never knew that I used that to buy clothes for Saturdays. I used to hate Fridays because that's the day when I had to put 1 and 2 together so that like I can look fine the next day. So I started selling chips, and I managed to get few garments, and I was like, okay, now I'm done. I have a lot to change with, so I have to focus at school because it was disturbing me in a way because I'll be like trying to study and someone else, Lindo, look tank. That's like, someone is like, I want to buy. So I have to shift that attention to that person now. Okay, what do you want? So yeah, and I had to be nice. They are customers, even if they... So I needed their contribution, so I had to like be nice. My parents are both not working. My mother has never worked before, and my father was working but got retrenched when I was still young. I don't know if he doesn't have the head for money, but he never made any investments. So we just used that money to live with. And when no money is getting in and money is coming out, it gets depleted. So that's when he woke up having no money. He was like, okay, he used his car to drive people around. That's what he's still doing, and that's how we live at home. We depended on him. This dress I'm wearing today, yeah, it may have holes. It has holes, but it's beautiful. Like, my father had to say to my mom that, okay, for 2 weeks, I'm budgeting for her to hire this dress. It was like, okay, no list for me this week. No list for me. They are sacrificing for me. I do not have a bursary I use alone, but I have never let that intimidate me. As long as I'm studying, I don't care what I use, as long as I have a book in front of me. Where was I? Seriously, where was I? Oh, okay. So, oh, my father. Okay, so even the shoes I'm wearing today, these shoes, they were bought for me by my teachers for my matric ball because they wanted me to be part of it, and I didn't have money, so they had to contribute. And when I came here, I realized that my shoe, I had to fix it when I came here. I was like, okay, no problem, no one will notice it. But now, when I'm given an opportunity to say this, I should report the shoe. So, yeah, I'm saying this in front of you because I'm certain that I will be in a lot of events in future, in future, let's say, maybe in 20 years to come, addressed as a professor. Regardless of the background, I will be a professor. And it makes me so proud to be with them. You can see them, they are from multi-schools. But I said to myself, no, I have the brains, they have the brains, so I can do it. The only difference is that they are exposed to more things, which I'm not. But the anatomical structure is the same. So I'm saying, okay, I was talking about the event thing. So I want the MEC, when introducing me, to take more than 50 minutes. This is Dr. Silindoguhle. Oh no, they will call me by my initial. This is Dr. Silindoguhle. What am I saying? Dr. SZ Twala, who has a PhD in neurology, who has masters in cardiology, who has been recognized as the most female participant in oncology. And I want to get to a stage where I'm like, no, that's enough. Like, when I'm more than enough to this. That's enough. So, what I'm saying today is that we may be from the rural areas, but we also have the brains. Sometimes they forget us in the invention of some stuff, but really they should include us because we can also think. We can. So it was like very proud of me to reach that opportunity, even if it was not like in front of me. Like I'm from Injoloba Secondary School, where everything is done in Zulu. When you greet in Zulu, when the teacher teaches, he will teach in Zulu. Even English was taught in Zulu. So it was very difficult for me to be with a person who doesn't understand any language other than English in the same room. I will literally pray, oh God, let this person do not direct any questions to me. I will pray that they do not utter their word to me because I was so scared. But when I got to ProTech, I gained that oomph of talking in English. So at ProTech, I gained a lot in science because there were Olympiads in science, like building bridges. There were other activities, and I gained in language. So what I want you to take home with me, like what I've given you, is that in life, you should never limit yourself. In life, you should hope, you should pray. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susie, for sharing all of that so frankly and so honestly. And I think it will inspire many of us to not allow superficial matters to get the better of us, nor language issues, actually. Finally, I just want to appeal to you. Not all of these students have full bursaries. I never know how this happens. It happens every year that there are students in this group who got top marks in maths and physical science who do not have bursaries. I appeal to you to contact the NSTF, and if you can offer a bursary, and we will put you in contact. Thank you very much.